Welcome back to another game of On Base Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of On Base. And in this game we have the decisive Game 5 of the 1980 NLCS. It's Philadelphia at Houston, and Philadelphia won Game 4, 5-4. They came back with 5 runs in the 7th and 8th. They were all but dead in the water on this one. They were down 4-2, scored 3 in the 8th to take a 5-4 lead, and hung on to the end. Tug McGraw got the save. What's his name? Knowles? Dick Knowles, I think, got the win, and push this one to a Game 5, and that's where we are right now. It'll be Marty Bistrom, I think you say it Bistrom, not Bystrom, against Nolan Ryan. So the Express gets the start in Game 5. In the actual series, Philadelphia wins this one and goes on to the World Series to face the Royals, and we'll see if history repeats itself or if Houston can put it together and rewrite the history books. So let's get started in this one. The Phillies have the first bat. It's going to be Pete Rose leading off and playing at first base. Bate McBride is in right field. He's hitting second. Mike Schmidt is hitting third and playing at third base. Greg Luzinski gets the start in left field. He is hitting fourth. Manny Trio is the second baseman. He's hitting fifth. Gary Maddox in center is hitting sixth. Larry Boa is the shortstop. He's hitting seventh. Bob Boone is the catcher, and he's hitting eighth. And Marty Bistrom is the pitcher. He is hitting ninth. Bistrom, a right-handed pitcher, 24 is his stamina. 270 is his FIP. He did only have 6 starts. He had 5 starts. He was 5-0 with a 1.50 ERA. So pretty terrific start to your career there. And for the Astros, it's going to be Terry Poole leading off. He is in center field in this game. Enos Cabell is at third. He's hitting second. Joe Morgan is playing at second base. He's hitting third. Jose Cruz gets a start in left field. He is going to be hitting fourth. Danny Walling is in right field. He's hitting fifth. Art Howe is at first base. He's hitting sixth. Luis Pujols is the catcher. He'll be hitting seventh. Craig Reynolds gets a start at short. He is hitting eighth. And the Express, Nolan Ryan, is hitting ninth. He is a right-handed pitcher. He can go 28 for his stamina, and he has a 2.89 FIP. On the season, just 11-10 with his record, 3.35 ERA though. 200 strikeouts in 233 2/3 innings pitched. So we're going to get right into this one. For Philadelphia, it'll be Pete Rose, Bate McBride, and Mike Schmidt. So Ryan is ready with his tosses, and he comes in with the first one to Pete Rose. He induces a ground ball, and this will be a grounder to the shortstop. No problem for Reynolds as he gets it over to first. And this Game 5 is underway. It was played on October 12th, 1980. A 45 to Bate McBride. That's going to be a long single. He's got a 6 speed as he hits this one into right field, and he's going to turn that into a hustle double. So Bate McBride with a 2-bagger on a long single. A player with 6 speed, a batter with 6 speed, will get two bases, so turns that into a double. Excuse me. And then any other runners on base get the 1 base for the single plus an extra base for the long single. Just a quick refresher on how this game works. When we roll, we have a 54. We look at the smallest die first, so you need 2 6-sided die and a D10, or I don't know if anybody ever has a D9, but you can also use there's an application that I've created online that you can use that has a true 1 to 9 D9 ratings. So all of the extra things are built off of a 1 to 9 percentage, not 1 to 10. But you can use a D10 if you get a if you get a 10, which for me is a 0. So if you get a 10, you just re-roll and until you don't get a 10. So just pretty easy. That only happens a handful of times each game. So 45. We look on the pitcher card first, so you can see that there are some results here on Nolan Ryan's card. That helps him to even him out and get him into the right place where he needs to be. It's built off of a range of FIPS, which you can see more easily on the game engine chart. So the game breaks down as a FIP from 0 to 350. It uses this chart here, which you can see. An 11 for a strikeout, a 33 for a strikeout, and a 36 for a walk. So this has just basically been transferred to the card. And then this is sort of the column 2, 1 grade down, 350 FIP to a 425, 425 to 475, and then anyone with a FIP that is 475 or greater is going to get these results here. And basically I took and averaged out the groups of pitchers here, so the ones who had a 0 to 350 FIP, and I tried to match them above average, or well, they're definitely above average. So it generally requires more strikeouts to be in this group here, and actually more walks, if you can believe it, than average. So that's how that works out, and batters work the same way. So batters are all graded out. You can see Mike Schmidt has a batting runs of 52.9. He is in this 30 plus category, and so all of these are just transferred over to his card. So if you have a blank, then you'll take this 45 and go over to the batter card, which for Mike Schmidt would be a fly out. For Bate McBride, who has 12.9 batting runs, he's in column 2. Mike Schmidt is in column 1. So you can see that even their 45 is different. So it's a fly out here, it's a long single here, 46 for him is a strikeout, 46 here is a line out or a pop out. So those things are switched up a little bit depending on what type of hitter you are. So if it's not here, if it's here, let's say it was a 33, then we just do the strikeout, whatever's off of the pitcher card first. And then if there's a blank, then you go over to the batter card. And then if it's say a ground ball or a fly out, then that's where your D10 comes into play. And if you purchase the game, you'll get all this. This will also be in the game guide, but it's got kind of a quick remembering system here. So on ground outs, if the D9 is a 1 to 6, you just match the position number. So a 6 is a shortstop, 1 is a pitcher, 2 is a catcher, etc. And then if it's a 7 to 8, 7 or 8, that goes to the shortstop, and a 9 goes to the second baseman. So a few more balls go to 3 chances to the shortstop, 2 chances to the second baseman, and then 1 chance to everybody else. For fly balls, 1 to 3 goes to left, 4 to 6 to center, 7 to 9 to right. And then you can denote whether the strikeout was swinging or looking. And then base running, if we wanted to try to steal third here, which I don't talk about that too much in this, but there's a little bit of a stealing, tagging, base running here. So you would roll the D9 if you wanted to steal. If the roll is higher than the speed value, which is what I have listed here, or you can find it on the player's card. If it's higher than that speed value, then he's out trying to steal. To steal third, you would subtract 1 from the player's speed value. So instead of a 6, he would be a 5. So instead of 1 to 6, he'd be a 1 to 5 to steal third. And then if you want to steal home, you would subtract 2. So he would be a 1 to 4 to steal home. So you can see it goes from 60% to 50% to 40%, which always seemed to make sense to me. You know, I'm kind of painting in broad strokes with this game, just for the sake of simplicity. So we're not going to steal third because we have probably the best hitter in the game in 1980 at the plate against one of the best pitchers in the game. So we'll see how this goes about. A 24, we read lowest number first, 24. 24 is going to be a double play or a strikeout. Now it's a double play if the possibility exists, which with a runner at second base, there's no possibility of a double play. So instead, we're going to take the strikeout. So that's going to be a strikeout swing because it's a 1-6. So with a man in scoring position, Schmidt strikes out. He had 119 Ks in 548 at-bats. Reasonable, I think. Back then, it would be great today for a power hitter. A guy who had 48 home runs, that's a lot of contact. So, Greg Luzinski, speaking of power, 19 home runs, 56 RBIs in 1980. A 26 is going to be a ground out here, and you can see that goes to 7, which we saw before. It goes to the shortstop. No problem. You can decide how he goes with it. I mean, at this point, he's going to go to first. And Philadelphia is done in the first inning. And that's how it plays. It plays pretty quickly. Probably take you, I'm having to talk and take moments like this, so it's about 40 minutes for me to play on the recording, 45. And it'll take you somewhere 25 to 35 minutes probably, just playing by yourself. Depending on how many changes you make and how much pondering you do. You get a lot of players, so you might be looking through a lot of stuff. Marty Bistrom against the top of the Houston order. It'll be Poole, Cabell, and Morgan. First pitch to Terry Poole is going to be a 16. 16 is always a flyout with a runner advance. A 12 is always a ground out with a runner advance. So there's some things that do come around always to be the same. Typically 23 is a ground out with an error check. 25 is a flyout with an error check, but I can't guarantee that that's going to be the same for everybody, but I think it's pretty close to the same for everybody. So there's a few things that come up quite frequently. This equals a 7 on a scale, on a, where you're rolling 2d6 dice. A 7 is like a very common kind of thing. With this sort of setup where you're not adding things, you're not making a 7, all of these should have an equal weight except for the doubles. So everything that's a double should be is 2.78% chance, and then everything that's not a double all has the same exact 5.56 or 5.8% chance. So it's just the way the game is weighted. So you get quite a bit of variability in the game, actually. So 16, that's going to be a fly out. And then on our outfielders, 4, 5, 6 goes out to the center fielder. That I kind of like to think of that as left center field. So you think about the field this way. Left field line, straightaway left center field, but caught by the left fielder. 4 is left center field, but caught by the center fielder. 5, straightaway center. 6 to the center fielder and right center. 7 to the right fielder and right center. 8 is straightaway right, and 9 is down the line. So that's kind of how I like to think about. If you hear me talk about direction of the ball and where things go on flyouts. And then a 16, it's a flyout with all runners get to advance a base, so that's obviously going to be a very deep fly ball. So deep fly ball to left center field for Manny Trio, or for Terry Poole. But the center fielder is Gary Maddox. He's going to get there to make the catch for out number 1. So if you're ever like, man, he's really making up where these balls are going really quickly, well, it's a little bit formulaic. So it's not all just coming out of my head. I wish it was, but you see a 23 here. That's a ground out. That's to the shortstop, and there's going to be an error check on the shortstop. Now, the way that we do an error check is we know we're looking at Larry Boa. He's the shortstop. His error rating is a plus, and if it's a plus, the only way he can make an error is if I roll a 1 with the D10. It's a 5, so there's no error on the play, but he does make the out at first base. So if it's a person with a minus, You see there's a minus defensive rating. Enos Cabell has a minus defensive rating, right? So if it's a minus, he makes an error on either a 1 or a 2 on a D10. If it's a plus, he makes an error on a 1. Now, the beauty of this game is that it's totally open to you. Like, you pay for the game if you buy the cards and if you buy the roster sheets and stuff like that. But I also have kind of a free download where you get all the game component. You get the scorecards, and you can always download the game engine charts for free off of clarkandaddisongaming.com. So the game is essentially free. I just charge you because it takes some time and effort to put these cards together and just make it easy to print and play. But there's nothing stopping you from going out. This is just totally based on statistics. There's no proprietary anything other than the game engine. There's nothing really proprietary about the game. So it's built for you to be able to go to Baseball Reference. I like to use Fangraphs and use the Fangraphs values for batting runs and defense and stuff like that. But you can use Baseball Reference if you want to. But you can go out and you can literally get any set of players, put them on a field together, pull out any game engine chart from any era in history from the 40s all the way to today, and you can play a game with anybody. It's totally customizable. And in the places where, like, base running, defense, especially those two areas, like if you wanted to add more to the game, you could. So I just wanted to kind of give a vanilla game that you could play straight out of the box. Or my hope and intention is that gamers come up with homebrews for this game. So that's always been the intention of On Base Baseball, is to put this in your hands. And so I kind of did the heavy lifting of the game engine, and then after that, like, you can do the filling in the details, and you can put as many details as you want. You can bring in things from other games if you want to, other charts, however you want to do that. If you fancy yourself to be a game designer, but you are better at just kind of looking at what is and then creating some little things here and there, it's the perfect game for that, because everything is given to you. So all the stats, all of the values are there, and you can just create charts off of those values pretty easily. So that's the intention of this game. All right, Joe Morgan is up next. We got 2 down, bottom of the first inning. Morgan's first at bat, a .243 hitter in 1980, 11 homers, 49 RBIs. 46 is going to be, we have to look here, so it's going to be a line out, and then we can roll to see where did that line out go. Went to right field. Excuse me. So a little line drive to right field. Coming in hard on it is the right fielder. That is Bake McBride, who makes a nice catch in right, and that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Bistrom as he takes care of the first 3 hitters in the Houston lineup. We head to the top of the second inning in this final game of the 1980 NLCS. Winner goes to the World Series, and Nolan Ryan will face off against Manny Trio, Gary Maddox, and Larry Boa. A 13 is going to be a ground ball right back to the pitcher. No problem there as he tosses it over to first. Good job by Nolan Ryan fielding his position. That's going to be out number 1. Gary Maddox to the plate. Maddox, not a great season. 260, 259 average, 11 homers. He did have 73 RBIs, so he did some good things, just only a 664 OPS. So a little light on the hitting, and here he's going to strike out against Nolan Ryan as he gets caught looking at a breaking ball. Expecting a fastball, and Ryan drops that big curve on him, and he gets caught looking. That's out number 2. 2 Ks in 2 innings for Nolan Ryan. 26, that's going to be a ground out to the catcher, so a little tapper out in front, and we're going to get a test on the catcher. It's Pujols. He's a minus defender, so a 1 or 2, he'll make an error. It's an 8. So he picks it up, makes a good throw to first, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Nolan Ryan. Against the bottom of the Philly order, We head to the bottom of the second inning, still no score. It'll be Jose Cruz, Denny Walling, and Art Howe against Marty Bistrom. For Jose Cruz, this is going to be a walk as he goes down to first base. That's the first base runner of the game for the Astros. He's a 1-6 to steal. You can see here with his stolen bases, he was 36 for 47. So we're going to go ahead and try to steal with him. He's a 1-6 to get to second. Stealing is very straightforward. So 1-6, he has a 6 speed. 1-6, he'll be safe. Otherwise, he's going to be thrown out. It's a 2, and he's in there under the tag. And Jose Cruz at second base with nobody out. And Denny Walling to the plate. Walling, 8 batting runs, .299 average, 3 homers and 29 RBIs. Just 100 games played, but 761 OPS, had a pretty good season. 56, though, is going to be a strikeout as Bistrom gets him with the swinging strike. Struck out just 26 times. He had a .374 on base percentage, so Denny Walling, I guess, showing what he was going to be moving into the future. Art Howe, first baseman. He's going to ground out here. This is a little tapper down the first base line. The catcher is Bob Boone. He gets out and makes a throw to first, and he's going to get the runner, but that is going to push the runner to third base. So he gets the base runner, the batter. But a ground out with an arrow like that on a 12 means the only play to make was to first base. So it was a fielder's choice, and the only play was to first, and so all the runners advance. It's Pujols to the plate. A 34 for Pujols is going to be a base knock as the catcher comes through. He hits this one past the first baseman. And Luis Pujols puts the Astros on the board first with an RBI single as Jose Cruz comes home from third base. Craig Reynolds to the plate now. Pujols at first, no threat to steal. 24 is going to be a strikeout as Bistrom picks up his second strikeout of the game, and that'll be out number 3, but Houston does put the first mark on the board, and it is 1-0 Houston as we head to the top of the third. Deciding game 5, Philadelphia came back with 5 runs in the last 3 innings of game 4 to force a deciding game 5. A 36 is going to be a walk. That's to Bob Boone. Boone's got quite a few walks in this series. He has a walk on a 23. That's pretty good. And a 44. So a couple different walks there. Marty Bistrom to the plate. Let's go ahead and actually let's hit away with Bistrom. He's a -2 batter. That's pretty good. That's better than Boone, Boa, and Maddox. So we'll go with the 34. A long single as he shoots this one into the right center field gap. He doesn't have any speed to speak of, but he does knock the runner over to third base. And just like that, 2 straight base runners against Nolan Ryan, and now the Phillies are in business. Let's see if they can get the big hit. We got Pete Rose coming to the plate. A 15 from Pete Rose. That is a big hit as he smacks this one over the shortstop's head. That's going to lead to 1 RBI as he knocks in Boone from third base, and Pete just shortened up the swing and sent that one out into left center field. We're going to hold Bistrom at second. So tied at 1 now with Bake McBride coming to the plate. He doubled in his first at bat. A 45, that's going to be another long single, this one to center field. And Bake McBride's going to turn that into a hustle double again. 2 bags for Pete Rose. He's just a 4 speed, so we'll leave him at third, but that is going to drive home the run from second base. So the player at second gets 1 for, you see that, he gets 1 for the single, and he gets 1 for the long single. So he comes home on the RBI double from Bake McBride. McBride 2 for 2 now with a couple of doubles and an RBI. Mike Schmidt coming to the plate. He's got 2 in scoring position. Runners at second and third, and he is going to walk. So that will load the bases. And that brings Luzinski to the plates. 2-1 lead now for Philadelphia. A 24 is going to be a double play or a strikeout. So nobody is out at this point. There's no outs. And we have a ball hit to the shortstop. We're going to go 6-4-3 on the double play. So they are going to get 2. So that's out number 1, out number 2. But that's going to allow the runner to score from third on the fielder's choice. And so Luzinski grounds into a double play, but he does bring home a run. Nolan Ryan trying to limit the damage here. 3-1 Philly, and a 24 is going to be another strikeout. So Nolan Ryan with the K, and that's going to be a crooked number for the Phillies in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third. It's 3-1 Philadelphia all of a sudden with the quick strike offense. And it'll be the Astros sending up the bottom of the order. It's Nolan Ryan, then Terry Poole, and Enos Cabell. 35 is going to be a strikeout as Ryan strikes out looking. That'll be out number 1. Nolan Ryan, a -10 batting runs. Not one of those guys like Bob Gibson, who's a really good hitter. Coming to the plate is Terry Poole. We got a 33. 33 typically is a home run, but that turns into a strikeout because of Marty Bistrom and his FIP. So he is going to strike out Terry Poole, and you can see how better pitchers change the game. So it would have been one thing, but the pitcher stepped in and changed the result there. So that tends to help keep some of the things down in the game, and it's going to keep scoring down as well. 35, this is to Enos Cabell. He's going to strike out swinging, and that is a 1-2-3 inning. 3 up, 3 down, 3 strikeouts for Marty Bistrom, who just has a 15% strikeout percentage. That's about average. 21 Ks in 36 innings. But he's taking care of business here against the Astros so far. We go to the top of the fourth. It's 3-1 Philly over Houston. Gary Maddox, Larry Boa, and Bob Boone to the plates. A 15 is going to be a grounder, a hot grounder to third base. Making the play at third is Enos Cabell, and he makes a strong throw to first to get the speedy Maddox. That'll be out number 1. Maddox provides a good defensive option, but not much from the offensive side. And there are a couple of offensive players that we can bring in later in the game to if they need it. Larry Boa to the plate. Boa grounded out in his first at bat. He's going to walk here. So he gets on base for the first time. Third walk of the game for Nolan Ryan. A lot of people don't know that. Nolan Ryan, one of the game's premier walk artists. A 10% walk rate here. But he's at the top of the all-time list in walks and strikeouts at the same time. 23, that's going to be another walk. So back-to-back walks from Nolan Ryan as he loses his control just a little bit. Good part is pitcher spot is up, so that's going to be we're going to go ahead and hit away. Chances are good that Nolan Ryan can strike someone out, but let's see what happens. That's actually going to be a single as Marty Bistrom now 2 for 2. This is going to be a base knock through the hole on the left side. That's going to push the runner to third base. He's a 6. And let's go ahead and see if we can score Larry Boa as he comes around the horn. And he's heading home. It's a 5, and Larry Boa is going to slide in safely with a single, or on the single. And that's going to be an RBI for Marty Bistrom, who's now 2 for 2. He's pitching a good game. He is helping himself at the plate. And now we have 2 runners on with 1 out, and it's a 4-1 lead for Philly. Another walk from Nolan Ryan. I don't tend to bring the Hall of Famers out too quick, but man, can't keep walking people like this. Big McBride to the plate. McBride 2 for 2. He's got a couple of doubles and an RBI. We've got 1 out in the inning. This is going to be a little tapper down the third baseline. The only play is to first base. So that's going to be out number 2, but it is going to score the run from third as everybody moves up 1 base. So on the fielder's choice, Big McBride picks up his second RBI. And we are going to have runners at second and third as 2 are in for Philadelphia. In the fourth, it's now 5-1 Phillies with Mike Schmidt coming to the plate. Schmidt 0 for 1. A 33 would have been a double, but instead, off of Nolan Ryan, that's going to be a strikeout as he gets Schmidt for the second time swinging through a fastball. And that ends the inning, but not before Philly puts up 2. They now lead 5-1. And we are headed to the bottom of the fourth inning. Nolan Ryan can go 28 batters. He's already at 21, just through 4 innings. That'd be a short night for him. It'll be Joe Morgan, Jose Cruz, and Denny Walling for Houston. Bistrom lays it out there. He's got 4 strikeouts in a row. And for a guy who's not a big strikeout guy, he has got it working as Houston brought the bats with the holes in them accidentally. And that's going to bring up Jose Cruz. Cruz has no official at bat. He walked, stole a base, and scored in his first at bat. A 35 is going to be a strikeout here, as Marty Bistrom is on some kind of roll. He's got 2, 4, 6 strikeouts in a row. Do it to it, Marty Bistrom. Denny Walling. Somebody finally gets some wood on the ball, and that's going to be a grounder, a little too hopper to short. No problem for Larry Boa. That's another 1-2-3 inning for Marty Bistrom. And we head to the top of the 5th. It's 5-1 Philly. Houston looking like they haven't gotten the engine going yet. And Nolan Ryan is going to face off against Luzinski, Trio, and Maddox. Ryan induces a grounder. This is hit the opposite way to the first baseman. No problem at first base for Art Howe, as he's going to call off Ryan and take it to the bag himself. 1 out in the inning. Manny Trio to the bag, or to the plate. Not to the bag yet. But a 45 puts him on the bag, and so that's going to be a single to left field. We're going to check error on the left fielder. No error there, so just a base hit. And Manny Trio takes a big turn, but he's going to head back. He's a 6-speed. Quite a few guys with some speed on this one. Only 8 for 11 in the stolen base department. Doesn't feel like a time when you're going to push someone, so let's let Gary Maddox hit away. A 34 for Maddox is going to be a single as he hits a rare base hit to the left side, and that will push the base runner to second base. Left fielder Cruz gets it in quickly. That brings up Larry Boa. Boa 0 for 1. He walked in his last at bat. 35 is going to be a double play as we go 5-4-3. That's going to end the inning. So we go 5-4-3, and this is out number 2, out number 3, and a nice play there from the third baseman Cabell, and that gets Nolan Ryan out of the 5th. It is still 5-1. We're waiting for the Houston offense to awaken. Marty Bistrom looking like a Cy Young Award winner out there. And he's got a strikeout here. That's going to be another strikeout. Strikeout number 7 for Marty Bistrom. Actually, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Strikeout number 8, if you can believe it. It's one of those ones that's going to go down in the record books as an incredible performance from a guy who came out of nowhere, mostly. Luis Pujols to the plate. A 12 is going to be a ground out. That is to the third baseman. Mike Schmidt makes a nice play on that to his left. Spins and throws to first. Plenty of time to get the catcher. And that's going to bring up Craig Reynolds, the shortstop. Reynolds, one of those strikeout victims from before. This time he's going to strike out again. So 9 Ks on the day for Marty Bistrom. Another 1-2-3 inning for this pitcher. And he is cruising in game number 5 of the 1980 NLCS. We're at 25 batters for Nolan Ryan. He can go 28. And let's see if he can give him just a little bit more. It's going to be a deep fly ball down the left field line, and heading into the corner is going to be Jose Cruz, and he makes the catch near the wall, and that'll be out number 1. Bob Boone is out. Officially an at-bat now. He's got 2 walks and 2 runs scored. Brings up Marty Bistrom. Bistrom is 2 for 2 with an RBI, a couple singles. 35 is going to be a ground out. This one goes right back to the pitcher. Nolan Ryan wings it over to first, and that's going to be out number 2. Pete Rose stands in. He's 1 for 2. Walked in his last at bat. A 66 is going to be another walk. So Bistrom has had the strikeouts. Nolan Ryan has had the walks. And this game has just been upside down from the beginning. Brings up Bake McBride. McBride 2 for 3. He's got a couple of RBIs. A 26, that's going to be another hit. And that goes past the shortstop into left center field. Let's check the error. Possible error, but the center fielder pool has a plus, so no error on the play. And that is going to be a single. And now with 2 outs, the Phillies have something going on. So 2 down, runners at first and second, and Mike Schmidt back to the plate. He's 0 for 2. 36, though, is going to be yet another walk. And you're wondering the same question I am. How long am I going to let this go? We're only in the 6th. I think you got to bring somebody in at this point and just tell Nolan Ryan, sorry, brother, it's not your day. Let's go with Frank LaCourte. I think Joe Sambito was ready for this game too. Actually, let's go with him. That feels like a good one. I think he actually came into the game. Sambito, from what I know, has been hurt in this one. 2-3-2 fit. Wow. So Nolan Ryan is out and Joe Sambito is in. 8-4 record, 2.19 ERA and 90 innings pitched. 75 Ks in 90 innings, good for a 21% K percentage. He faces the Bull, Greg Luzinski. Luzinski 0 for 3. A 23 is going to be a ground out. That is to the catcher. Let's check the error. No error on the play. And he is going to go to first base. Nice easy throw. And that's out number 3. So Sambito comes in and keeps the Phillies from scoring after they get the bases loaded with 2 outs. And that's going to take us to the bottom of the 6th inning, 5-1. But the Phillies have knocked out Nolan Ryan in this one. So we're going to need to bring in, let's bring in a pinch hitter. And so that means Sambito is going to be out. And let's go with Gary Woods. It's right here on top. You know what? Let's not. Let's go with Landis-Stoy. That way you can pull a double switch. I looked in the game box score and it was like double switches all over the place. There's a lot of managing going on in this one. He's actually come in at shortstop in the 6th. He is a switch hitter. minus 8 plus 7. And he's just going to come straight into the game and take over. So Landestoy comes in. We'll put the pitcher at in that spot for Reynolds. So Landestoy is going to enter the game as the new shortstop. He'll face Marty Bistrom, see if he can do anything. He actually cannot. So that's going to be a line drive, and that goes to the third baseman. He hits it hard, but he hits it right at Mike Schmidt. Schmidt up to the task at third base, and that's going to be out number 1. Back to the top of the order now. Terry Poole 0 for 2. One of the many strikeouts for Marty Bistrom. 55. He's going to be another strikeout victim as he goes down swinging, and he is out number 2 here in the bottom of the 6th. Winner take all in this one, Game 6 or Game 5 of the 1980 NLCS. It's a best of 5. This game, the series is tied at 2, and the winner is going to go on to face the Royals. 36, that'll be a walk as Enos Cabell draws a walk. Only the second walk of the game for Marty Bistrom. Let's see if that's the first crack in the dam. Joe Morgan can put pressure on anybody. A 25, though, is going to be a fly out down the right field line. It's a long run for Bate McBride, so we're going to check that error. It's an 8, no error on the play, and Bate McBride makes a nice running catch on the line in right field, and that's going to end the 6th as Marty Bistrom tips his cap, and that's going to take us to the 7th inning. Manny Trio is the first man up. We need a new pitcher. New pitcher is going to be, let's go with Frank LaCourte. No, laundry's done. We could also go with Joaquin Andujar, but let's keep him in our back pocket just in case this one goes to extra innings or something. So we've already burned Sambito. And LaCourte, 3-3-4 FIP. He comes in to face Manny Trio, Gary Maddox, and Larry Boa. Let's see if Maddox gets to the plate. I think he should, because he's just the better defender. 24, that's going to be a strikeout. Nice start for LaCourte. LaCourte, 19% strikeout percentage. He's also got a 13% walk percentage, which is pretty terrible. He's either striking you out or walking you. He's not giving up home runs. He had 11 saves in 55 games. He's going to face Gary Maddox, and he's going to get Maddox looking. So 2 up, 2 down for Frank LaCourte and 2 strikeouts. It's going to be a nice looking line if he can get Larry Boa. Boa is 0 for 2. 25, Boa gets some wood on it. This one goes out to right center field. And no problem for the right fielder. That's going to be Denny Walling who gets over. And he gets it into his glove for out number 3. 1-2-3 inning for Frank LaCourte against the Phillies, but the problem is they're still down 4 runs. They need 4 to tie, they need 5 to win, and they need to do it pretty quickly. Marty Bistrom going out there for maybe the last inning. He can go 24 as his stamina. He's at 21, starting 23 right now. He walks Jose Cruz. Cruz will be at first base for Denny Walling. 26 to Walling is going to be a ground out. That goes to the second baseman. They're going to get that out at second base, but that's all that they get. So we're going to go 4-6 on the fielder's choice, and Denny Walling will be at first. Brings up Art Howe. Howe is 0 for 2. But he's going to wrap a single here over the second baseman's head as Trio leaps, but he can't get it. And that's going to push the runner to second base. We got runners at first and second with 1 out. How long do we stick with Bistrom? That is the question. 26, that's going to be a ground out to third base. Let's check the error on Schmidt. No error on the play. So he's going to go to the second baseman for 1. That's be a fielder's choice. The runner is going to go to third. And we're going to go 5-4 on the put out. So runners at the corners now, as they can't turn 2 on that ground ball to third. And that brings up Craig Reynolds to the plate. Actually, it's going to be the pitcher's spot, right? So we'll keep moving that pitcher up the ladder, and we'll bring in Keith Moreland. He's a better hitter than Pujols. So Reynolds is going to be out. We're going to do another double switch. So let's do Keith Moreland. He'll come in to catch in the 7th. He's a right-hander. 3-3. I'm not always on my toes when I'm playing these National League games. I really have to kind of be focused. But if I'm on my toes, I've seen so many National League games, you kind of know what to do. So we're going to replace Pujols with Moreland. Moreland is going to be in the 8th spot. The pitcher is going to go into the 7th spot. And that gives us a whole other inning before we have to deal with that spot. So 2 outs, and I was going to bring in a reliever anyway. 2 outs, 2 on, and keep Moreland to the plate at 46. Oh, that's going to be a strikeout. So Marty Bistrom ends his day with a K. He is going to probably hand it over to Tug McGraw for the last couple innings and see if McGraw can nail it down. We're headed to the top of the 8th inning. Let's get a new pitcher for the Astros. The pitcher is going to be Dave Smith. You can usually see how a game is going by how many pitchers are being used. Not always these days, but quite often. That lets you know how it's going for one team. So Dave Smith enters the game. 7-5 record, 193 ERA, 102 innings pitched, 85 Ks, 10 saves in 1980, 228 FIP. He'll face Bob Boone, and then the pitcher spot will pinch hit. But we got, and then back to the top with Pete Rose. But we got a strikeout here as Dave Smith comes in blowing gas, and he gets it by Bob Boone for out number 1. So let's go ahead and pinch hit for Marty Bistrom. His day is going to be done. And let's bring in, let's see who we got here. Just on his merits, let's go with Dale Unser. Just on his stats alone. So pinch hitter in the 8th. Lefty, he is a -1, +5. I don't plan to bring Unser into the game. I'm just going to replace him as a pinch hitter. So Unser at the plate is going to ground out. This is a chopper to the shortstop. No problem at short for Landestoy, who makes a good throw to first. And Unser is out number 2. We can make it to the back to the top of the order. 5th plate appearance for Pete Rose. Rose is 1 for 2. He's got a couple of walks, a single, an RBI, a run scored, and just like the top of the order, or the bottom and the top of the order, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of activity. For the Phillies, they scored 5, but they haven't done much since, and we're in the top of the 8th now. 25 is going to be a fly ball that goes out to center field. No problem for the center fielder, Terry Poole, who's going to make the catch in center for out number 3. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Dave Smith, exactly what Houston needed. And Houston is going to have to deal now with Tug McGraw for the 5th time, I'm sure. I think I brought him into every single game. He was just having an amazing season. They did get to him in one game, so it is possible. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th off of McGraw. So we'll see if he can hold the fort down here. He'll be facing Landestoy, Poole, and Cabell. A 23 is going to be a walk. Never a good idea. Landestoy with some good speed. We're not going to deploy that right now as far as stolen bases. They still need 4 runs to win, or to tie, and they don't have many outs left. So we'll leave them there, but Terry Poole is going to strike out, so don't know how long we can just leave them there at first base. Brings up Enos Cabell. Cabell is a -10 batting runs. A 45, though, is going to be a base hit. As he gets a knock, he'll be 1 for 3. That's down the right field line past the first baseman. That's a long single, actually. So for Cabell, he's going to turn that into a double. The base runner here is going to go to third on the double. And Houston's got something going. They got the right guy at the plate, Joe Morgan. He's pretty much been their MVP in this series. And a 56 is going to be a walk. That will load the bases. Yeah, that's going to load the bases for Jose Cruz. Cruz, 19 batting runs. We haven't seen him do a whole lot here. He's not going to be able to hit a home run off of McGraw. But let's see what else he can do here. 26, that's going to be a base hit with an error check. So a base hit to right field. The right fielder is McBride, who's a plus. So he's going to grab it, but that is going to score a run. As we get 1 run in here because it's easy to score from third. And let's go ahead and try to score Enos Cabell. He's coming in. He's a 1-6 to score from second. So let's see if he makes it. It's a 1, and he's in there easily. As he comes all the way around from second, and he is going to score on the single as well. And let's see if Joe Morgan can make it to third. Maybe he will. 1-6. He goes first to third. He gets thrown out. So we'll say they tried to get him. It's like a 2-5, we'll call it. So that's out number 2. But a 2-run, 2 RBI single for Jose Cruz to right field. Joe Morgan gets gunned down. As they cut the throw to the plate, throw it to third, and they get the speedy Hall of Famer at third base. Denny Walling to the plate. Walling is 0 for the day. A 26, though, is going to be a grounder as he hits one right to the vacuum at third base, Mike Schmidt. But Houston draws closer. It's now 5-3. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Let's see if Dave Smith can keep it close so that Houston has a chance in the 9th. You'll have to go through the heart of the order: Bate McBride, Mike Schmidt, and Greg Luzinski. 56 to McBride is going to be a walk. McBride on for the 4th time in this one. Only been put out once, and when he did, he still had an RBI. So, terrific game from Bate McBride. 46 is going to be a strikeout to Mike Schmidt as he strikes out looking. That'll be out number 1. Dave Smith bringing it. He's got a couple of strikeouts in his first 4 outs of the appearance. So 22, though, that's going to be rough as Greg Luzinski pokes one out to right center field. It gets misplayed as the right fielder, Denny Walling, comes up against the wall. He tried to make the catch and he couldn't, and it gets away from him. That's going to be a 3-bagger. And that will actually be an RBI triple for Greg Luzinski. I believe that's his 2nd triple of the series. and quite an amazing series for Greg Luzinski. He had 1 triple during the year. He did have 20 doubles. And Dave Smith gives up the, that's a killer run. It's now 6-3. Lead back up to 3. And Manny Trio to the plate with a runner in scoring position. 23 is going to be a ground out to the pitcher. The pitcher is going to look back the runner at third and then throw it to first. No chance to score there. And that'll bring up Gary Maddox. The 23 to Maddox is going to be a walk. Dave Smith, a little bit of a struggle fest here. But he's got Larry Boa. Boa is 0 for 3. A 36. That's going to be another walk. And I think we just got to take him out here, right? As he loads the bases. And maybe he just doesn't have the touch. So we're going to bring in Randy Neiman. Neiman, a lefty. Goes 7 batters. And a 354 FIP. So he comes in for Dave Smith, who can't close things out. There are 2 outs. There are bases loaded. And Bob Boone to the plate. A 15, that's trouble. But not for Boone. So he's going to ground out. That's a little too hopper to short. We're going to go 6-4 on the putout. As he flips to the second baseman covering. And 1 run comes in the 9th. It's now 6-3. Phillies over the Astros. The Astros are facing one of the premier relievers in the league, and they've got the bottom of the order up, and they need 3 runs to tie. Sounds like a pretty steep hill to climb. Let's see if they can do it. Art Howe to the plate. He's 1 for 3. Oh, he gets them started well. That's going to be a double straightaway center field as that one hits halfway up the wall. Art Howe is going to cruise into second base with a leadoff double. Brings up the pitcher spot, so we got to get a pinch hitter here. Let's bring in Gary Woods. Pujols, you're gone. So we'll put Gary Woods into the game. He's a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, a righty. 5 minus 4. So we'll see if Gary Woods can do it. He's facing Tug McGraw. 13 is going to be a ground ball that goes to the shortstop. It's Larry Boa. Boa looks back the runner to second, and no advancement there as Gary Woods is the first out of the inning. Brings up Keith Moreland. Moreland struck out in his last at bat. This position in the order has struck out 3 times. 15, though, is going to be a base hit as he bounces one past the third baseman into left field. That's going to push Art Howe to third base. He is not fast, just a 4. So we'll leave him there, and we'll see if Landestoy can do something. I don't know if we have somebody to put in if we need to. We don't really have a better bat coming off the bench than Landestoy. Maybe Danny Heap. Let's leave Landestoy in there. He had a good game at one point in this one. So let's see if he can thwart the powerful Tug McGraw. A 35. 35 is going to be a double play. Oh boy, and that's a 6-4-3. That's going to end the ball game. Well, I suppose you win some and you lose some, right? Oh man. So the Astros get a leadoff double, and then they follow it up with a 1-out single, and Landestoy grounds out into the inning-ending series ending, game ending, double play. Philadelphia is going to win this one by a score of 6-3, and they are going to head to the World Series. So let me come up with the totals in this one, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back with the totals. It's Philadelphia 6-3 win over Houston. They are going to go to the World Series to face off against the Kansas City Royals. They had 6 runs on 9 hits, no errors. Clean game from both teams. Houston, 3 runs on 6 hits and no errors. The win goes to Marty Bistrom. He's going to be our player of the game. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 11 strikeouts. The save goes to Tug McGraw, who goes 2 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Nolan Ryan takes the loss. He just was not sharp in this one. 5 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 7 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Bullpen actually came in and did a pretty good job. They gave up 1 run the rest of the way. That was Dave Smith. But offense just couldn't get it going until late in the game. Jose Cruz, a decent game, had a single with 2 RBIs. Just not a lot else happening. Art Howe, a couple hits. Just not a lot going on for him. Luis Pujols had an RBI early on, but too much pitching from Marty Bistrom. When I was listening, it was a little bit of a controversy that they would go with him, but definitely worked out in this one, so why not? All right, so the next broadcast is going to be the World Series, 1980 World Series. It'll be Kansas City, who defeated the Yankees in 5 games, going against these Philadelphia Phillies, who wound up winning the World Championship in 1980. We'll see if they can redo that here. Should be a good pitching matchup between 2 teams with some pretty good starters, and not a ton of offense for either one. Some speed, some timely hitting, things like that's going to come into play for sure in this 1980 World Series. You can purchase this season at clarkandedisongaming.com. If you go there, it's right at the top of the homepage, so it doesn't take you long to get there. Just go and you can get the cards. You'll also get the roster sheet sets, which look like this. So it's the same exact information that's on the cards. It's just in a sort of a spreadsheet form, and then you would play that with the game engine chart by going through each player in the list, and you take your starting pitchers, you have their stamina, you have their FIP, and you have their, how they throw, and basically you would just put that into the right spot here on the score sheet. And for the batters, you have what primary position they play, you have how they bat, and then their batting, runs, defense, and speed that you would just essentially transfer over here into the batting, runs, defense, and speed. Then you have their position and how they bat. You can use as-played lineups, or you can create your own. Whatever you want to do is fine. And we have 2 different kinds of score sheets. There's one for at-bats, like I have here, where you just go sort of straight up and down. You have room for 7 at-bats in the game. Or there's a traditional sort of inning-by-inning score sheet that you can use as well, where you go first inning, second inning, third inning. It just doesn't have this section over here, but it just kind of keeps going off to the side, and then both have this areas here for the pitchers. If you have any questions or comments about this game in particular, or about on-base baseball, you can leave a comment down in the comments section. I get to them as quickly as I can, usually within the day. And then if you want to email me something a little bit longer, or you have some other thoughts or questions, you can either use the form at clarkandedisongaming.com, or you can email me at clarkandedisongaming@gmail.com. Either one of those will work for me. You can also catch me on Facebook. So we have a Facebook group for Clark and Addison Gaming. And so you can go to the Facebook groups and just search for Clark and Addison Gaming Company. Answer a few questions. It's a private group. So answer a few questions. They're super easy and just kind of help me get to know you a little bit. and I'll let you in. And then once in there, you'll have access to the community, other gamers who are playing or interested in the games that we make. And also, sometimes I just release games or files, or allow those to be my first testers of new games that I'm working on, that kind of thing. Bouncing ideas off of it. I put a couple of things out there today, just that I'm working on for on-base baseball, working on a printed version where you would get the game engine chart, and then you would get all of the batters and the pitchers, so all of the same thing I just showed you. Instead of printing it yourself, you would have it in a nice spiral bound book like this. This was a test run and not the direction I'm going, so I found a new company, and it's actually the same company I know that the Pocket Pennant Run guys use for their game components. So really good quality. They said that they are very pleased with the quality of the components and the things that they've created through them. So I'm going to try that out. I put it together and ordered it today. So as soon as it comes, it'll probably be mid-August or something like that. It takes a little bit of time because it's print on demand. So it's not like somebody walks over to a shelf, puts it in a box, and sends it to you. So it's not, you get put into a queue, and when your time comes up, they run your project, and then they ship it to you. So it takes a little bit more time, but it also allows me some flexibility with my own self, and also allows a little bit of flexibility for changing if there's a mistake or something like that. Then it's really easy to go back in, make the changes, add them to the file, and then everybody who makes a purchase, once that file gets updated, everybody who makes a purchase gets the new update. So really easy to do things like that and correct some mistakes that sometimes do happen. Right now, it's really easy with the PDFs that I do. Still going to provide the PDFs. This would just be another option for you if you didn't want to print things out. Or what I really like is you could just stick this in your briefcase or in your backpack, in a folder, whatever, and take it on a business trip with you, take it on a family trip with you, and you literally have an entire year replay within the bounds of this booklet. So you have the game engine chart to be able to use for playing each game, and then you literally have every player who got into a game, including some of these guys down here. I don't know if you can see because of the glare, but you can see some guys down here for the Royals. This guy, Herman Barranca, he was a pinch hitter. He got into 7 games, scored 3 runs, had no official at-bats, no average or anything like that, but he did get in. So if you're playing as played lineups, or you're trying to play as close as possible to the way the box score looked, you have everything you need inside this tiny little book. Look how thin that is. So you would have that to take with you anywhere you want to go. So it's super portable. All you would need is a blank book or some printed off score sheets, and be able to roll some games. Even if you were on the road and you didn't want to have dice with you, or you didn't want to take any dice, it doesn't take very much, just a couple D6s and a D10. But if you didn't want to have dice, you could even use the online dice roller to be able to have like a super portable dice rolling setup that works perfectly with on-base baseball. So I'm trying to think about all of the opportunities and all the ways that people might play this game, and just provide a way for you to do it, and a way for you to do it that makes sense, that's economical, and in a way that meets the needs of lots of different types of gamers. So if you like cards, we got that. If you like the roster sheets, we got that. You can buy the roster sheet sets a decade at a time. If you just want to play 80s baseball, you can buy the entire 80s in decade roster sheet form like this. And that's on the website as well, so you can purchase that. It's probably one of the best deals on the website, because you get 10 years of baseball, and everybody in the decade who got into a game is rated for on-base baseball. And then you get the score sheet. You get everything you need, just don't get the cards. So that's probably one of the best deals because it's a lot of baseball. You could just spend the rest of your life playing those 80 seasons out and with one purchase. So it's a really good deal. And I have that for the 40s all the way through to modern era. So the 2000 teens. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Maybe a game you haven't heard of very much, but if you want to check it out again, go to clarkaddisongaming.com. And if you do, I'll put a link in the description straight to all the on-base seasons and information. There's a free season, 1941, that you can download everything. So you get the roster sheets, you get the cards, you get everything totally for free for you to try out and to get into the game a little bit. And then I've got seasons from the 1940s all the way through to the most recent baseball seasons for you to play. It's a little scant as you get into the 80s, but I'm committing to try to fill in the 1980s a little bit, and this 80 season is a good bridge season to get to some of those mid-80s seasons. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what we're doing, consider telling somebody about it. And if you like the games, any of the games that you come across or purchase at clarkaddisongaming.com, then just let somebody know, whether it's on social media or just telling a friend. That's the way these things grow, and I appreciate everybody's support up to this point. I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy providing these things and really providing a fun experience for everybody to be able to just kind of take their mind off of everything that's happening in their lives for an hour at a time, and a chance to relive the past, to look at these guys and to see and remember. For some of us, remembering. For others of us, I was only a couple years old when this 1980 season happened. So for me, this is really like coming across some of these players in this season, not for the first time necessarily, because I keep up with baseball history, but really getting a chance to get your hands on a Tug McGraw, or getting your hands on someone like Jeffrey Leonard, who I knew later in his career, not early. So kind of interesting to see some of these guys from the late 80s who are starting up in the early 80s. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.